With new headlines in the US about this bombshell new court battle taking place next month. Just got a whole load worse for Meghan Markle because her sister Samantha ain't going anywhere. $75,000 lawsuit after the 44-year-old told Winfrey that she grew up as an only child during her and Prince Harry's bombshell March 20.
Meghan thought she had finally silenced her sister's voice like a ghost buried under years of royal glitter and Netflix glamour. But oh no, Samantha Markle isn't going quietly. She's dragging Meghan into court, and not just with whispers or bitter words. She's bringing receipts, real damning receipts. The kind that can shake palaces, break carefully curated images, and make the world question, was Meghan's story ever the truth or just one big performance?
For yet another legal bout with her half-sister Samantha Markle, the Post can confirm. The Duchess of Sussex emerged victorious in early 2023.
It started as nothing more than a whisper, a tiny rumor floating in the endless sea of tabloid chatter barely worth a second glance. But that whisper has now exploded into a full-blown legal earthquake, and guess who's standing right in the middle of it? None other than Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex herself. For years, Meghan polished every corner of her public image, kind, compassionate, victimized, silenced by the royals. But here's the twist no one saw coming. Her biggest challenger isn't a journalist, not a palace insider, not even a royal aide. It's her own half-sister, Samantha Markle. And Samantha is not holding back.
In Florida for allegedly making demonstratively false and malicious statements about her to a world audience.
Let's rewind to the first time Samantha dared to take Meghan to court. Remember that? People laughed it off. This will never stick, they said. And sure enough, judges dismissed the defamation claim faster than anyone could blink. The reasoning? Meghan's statements were deemed opinions, not hard facts, so legally they weren't actionable. Case closed. At least, that's what Meghan thought. She probably smirked, thinking she'd buried Samantha's fight once and for all. But Samantha, she was just getting started.
Documents obtained by the Post show that the hearing will now take place on September the 9th in Jacksonville, Florida.
For Samantha's legal team, that dismissal wasn't a defeat. It was a blueprint. Every loophole, every misstep, every tiny weakness in that first case became the roadmap for revenge. And now, Samantha is striking back. Not with messy emotion, not with teary TV interviews. This time, her comeback is sharper, colder, and devastatingly strategic. Meghan is about to learn the hard way. Samantha has leveled up.
2023 filing. Sam had previously filed her libel lawsuit against Meghan in late 2022, 2 years after the Sussexes quit royal life.
Forget about hurt feelings. Forget about the sisters who don't get along story. Samantha's appeal is playing on an entirely new field. It's not about whether Meghan felt something, it's about intent. Her lawyers are arguing Meghan didn't just blurt things out in the heat of the moment. Oh no. She crafted them, carefully, deliberately, knowing exactly how much damage her words could inflict on her estranged sister's reputation. It's not a family squabble anymore, it's a brutal courtroom chess match, and Meghan's once powerful queen may not be enough to protect her.
Been left livid that Sam just won't go away.
The argument cut straight to the bone. Meghan's words weren't slips of the tongue. They weren't emotional outbursts. They were calculated. By shifting the focus to why Meghan said what she did, not just what she said, Samantha's lawyers are forcing the court to peel back the glossy royal PR veneer and examine the intent behind the Duchess's every syllable.
Things were said about me that weren't true. And, even though it's not defamation item by item, all things taken together.
And that's Meghan's nightmare scenario. Her go-to defense, I'm just sharing my truth, suddenly looks weak, almost laughable. Because if Samantha's framing sticks, every Netflix episode, every sit-down interview, every tearful confession could be relabeled not as truth, but as a weaponized attack. The same media machine Meghan once used to win hearts, it could now expose her as the villain of her own story.
Had executive control.
The game completely changed when Meghan's Netflix series hit screens across the globe. Let's be honest, that wasn't a spontaneous tell-all. That wasn't Meghan crying over a cup of tea. That was a 6-episode cinematic production, polished and perfected over months. And now, Samantha Markle's legal team is labeling it exactly what Meghan didn't want. A weaponized narrative.
It hurt it was a character assassination. And damaging to me in a lot of ways. And so I don't, it's not like she came out and publicly said things.
Every single frame, every dramatic pause, every carefully placed violin cue. Samantha's lawyers are tearing it all apart, pointing to one conclusion. This wasn't just Meghan telling her story, this was Meghan rewriting reality itself. And in that retelling, Samantha was painted as the villain. Think about that. Samantha isn't accusing Meghan of venting. She's accusing her of staging a smear campaign, broadcasted in 4K to hundreds of millions.
And publicly say things, as a royal and with her PR.
And here's the real dagger, the global reach. This wasn't some one-off Oprah interview. This was Netflix, translated into dozens of languages, streamed into over 200 million homes worldwide. The damage? Samantha's team argues it wasn't just bad, it was catastrophic. Meghan didn't just tarnish her sister's name. She launched a global PR missile that detonated across continents.
For her. And in my opinion, that doesn't make her any less culpable. So there was a lot of damage done to me. It was fake news PR.
Insiders close to the case are whispering the same thing. Meghan's series wasn't some casual retelling. It was a campaign, a story arc designed with precision, a meticulously drawn-out plot where Meghan is the glowing victim and Samantha, the wicked antagonist. And here's the kicker. Samantha's lawyers argue Meghan had months, literally months, to rethink, to pull back, to soften her words. But she didn't. She doubled down. She went all in, which in the eyes of the court could mean this wasn't truth-telling. This was an ambush.
People have said to me, Samantha, well, how is it fake news about you?
What once looked like a messy sisterly squabble, it's morphed into an international legal nightmare. Imagine this. Meghan's 6-part Netflix blockbuster, which she thought would cement her status as the world's misunderstood heroine, could now be Exhibit A. Not entertainment, not storytelling. Evidence. Evidence of deliberate harm. For Meghan, this flips her world upside down. The same media mastery she used to win sympathy, admiration, even global applause, could be turned against her like a loaded gun. Every carefully crafted monologue, every slow-motion shot of her teary eyes, every dramatic pause might now be dragged into the courtroom. Instead of being seen as moving and heartfelt, Samantha's lawyers want the world to see them as cold, deliberate, and cruel. And Samantha, she's not leaning on sob stories or empty accusations this time. Her legal team has been working in silence, quietly gathering what some insiders are calling a mountain of evidence. A mountain so high it could bury Meghan's defense completely. This isn't about emotion anymore. This is about proof. We're talking raw receipts, emails, text messages, internal production notes, and even alleged recordings. Documents that, if true, suggest Meghan and her team planned how family members would be portrayed in the series. Every screenshot, every timestamp, every draft script could be paraded in court to argue this wasn't spontaneous. It was character assassination, dressed up in Hollywood lights. And here's where things get dangerous. Before, Meghan could shield herself with the "I was just telling my truth" defense. But if Samantha's side proves this was premeditated, that shield crumbles. Suddenly, opinion turns into defamation. Suddenly, sharing her truth looks more like destroying her sister's life. And that's actionable. Sources connected to the case spill even more tea. Samantha's team isn't stopping at Netflix. They're digging through Meghan's public appearances, her Instagram posts, her PR campaigns. The strategy? To show Meghan knew exactly how her words would land, and that she used her global platform to maximize the damage. Think about it. Every time Meghan cried in front of cameras, every time she said she was the victim, was it really about truth? Or was it about silencing the one woman who could call her out? Insiders whisper that this legal battle is cutting deeper than anyone expected. Samantha's team is no longer saying, "Meghan hurt my image." They're saying, "Meghan ruined my life." And the evidence they're preparing to present? Chilling. Court insiders reveal that Samantha's lawyers are lining up an army of mental health professionals, therapists, psychiatrists, counselors, all prepared to testify. Their claim? Samantha didn't just suffer embarrassment. She suffered trauma. Real, clinical, documented trauma. We're talking PTSD, severe anxiety, depression that allegedly spiraled directly from Meghan's narrative. This isn't a vague, "she hurt my feelings." This is a medical file stacked with therapy transcripts, prescriptions, psychiatric evaluations, the kind of evidence that makes judges sit up and pay attention. Imagine Meghan's tear-stained Netflix moments being directly linked to her sister's panic attacks, her sleepless nights, her 7 stolen years of mental collapse. If the jury believes that, Meghan's truth suddenly looks like a weapon that detonated right inside her sister's life. And the irony? Meghan has spent years branding herself as a champion of mental health, speaking at events, partnering with charities, telling the world she wants to help those suffering. But Samantha's attorneys are about to flip that saintly image on its head. They'll argue Meghan didn't just fail her sister, she crushed her. That behind the speeches about compassion was a woman willing to weaponize her fame, her fan base, and her media empire against her own blood. If the jury buys it, Meghan won't just look like an estranged sibling with a grudge. She'll look like a hypocrite. Worse, a bully. And once that label sticks, no palace, no PR machine, no Netflix documentary can scrub it off. But here's where things get really messy. Discovery, the stage every celebrity dreads. Discovery means one thing: Meghan Markle's private world could be cracked wide open. Every WhatsApp message, every email draft, every production note for that Netflix series could be dragged into the harsh light of the courtroom. Insiders say Samantha's lawyers are practically salivating. Imagine Meghan's private chats where she strategized with aides, mocked relatives, or rehearsed her estranged sister narrative. If those receipts exist, oh, they'll come out. And one leaked email could destroy years of carefully built PR perfection. Hollywood insiders whisper Meghan's biggest fear isn't losing the lawsuit, it's losing control of her story. For a woman who has built her entire brand on image, one private text could undo everything. Think about it. Meghan, who has always thrived in carefully staged interviews, facing a deposition under oath, no script, no retakes, just raw, unfiltered questions and answers she can't polish away. That's the nightmare her team is desperate to avoid. Of course, Discovery cuts both ways. Meghan's lawyers will dig through Samantha's records too, hoping to find inconsistencies, contradictions, or dirt to use as leverage. But let's be real, the spotlight will always burn brighter on Meghan. She's the Duchess, the global figure, the Netflix star. Samantha's skeletons might rattle, but Meghan's? They could bring down the palace walls. And let's talk about Meghan's defense strategy. So far, critics say it looks less like a legal fortress and more like a PR playbook. Instead of hammering Samantha's claims with tough law, Meghan's team leans into the Hollywood gloss, arguing Samantha was already estranged, already irrelevant, already distant. But Samantha's lawyers are poking holes in that story. They've pulled out family photos, old phone records, even holiday cards showing Meghan wasn't as detached as she pretended. The narrative of "I barely knew her" is crumbling. Court watchers are already saying Meghan's defense is too polished, too curated, too obsessed with optics. That might work on Netflix, but in a Florida courtroom, judges don't care about lighting, they care about evidence. And let's not ignore the whispers about Meghan's legal team fighting to keep evidence sealed. Reports suggest they're battling to limit Discovery, to hide Meghan's emails, to stop her from being forced into a deposition. But here's the catch. Every time they try to block evidence, it makes Meghan look guiltier. Why fight so hard to keep things hidden? Unless there's something to hide, that's the dagger hanging over Meghan's case. In a lawsuit built on truth versus lies, being seen as evasive is the worst possible look. The stakes? They couldn't be higher. This isn't just about sister versus sister anymore. This is about Meghan Markle's entire empire, her credibility, her brand, her legacy. If Samantha wins, Meghan could be ordered to pay millions in damages. But money isn't the real blow. The real blow would be the headlines, "Duchess exposed in courtroom by estranged sister." Imagine that plastered across every paper, every blog, every trending hashtag. Once a public figure is branded a liar, it sticks. Just ask Hollywood stars who never recovered. For Meghan, one wrong move in court could bring her glittering image crashing down. And once it's shattered, no royal comeback or glossy documentary can glue it back together.